We are about to discuss parallel prefix or prefix sum or scans. For that, the requirement is you should know whatever the discovered or the reduction trees in the optimization chapter after memory chapter, maybe sixth or fifth chapter. That was a mention of this, or the diagrams are being showcased in even your textbooks as such. Now, just we'll have just a slight recap of reduction trees, and then we'll proceed for the prefix sum or scans and complete this chapter as such. Okay, what is reduction? Basically, from many elements, you are finding out a single element. Maybe you are summating, or you are finding a product, or you are finding a maxima or a minima of that particular array as such. That's so more elements and towards or somewhere you are having something like a convergence cone kind of structures, and that is normally called as reduction. Fine. What was important over there, memory coalescing. So how do you load that contents into the memory, maybe with a single iteration or multiple iterations. How do you make sure that every content is available, and that was showcased, or the memory coalescing was much showcased with respect to the matrix multiplication or tile matrix multiplications, where certain tiles are being loaded at iteration 1 and the other tiles are being loaded in iteration 2 and so on. So control divergence is basically whenever you take decisions, if or else or for loop, whenever there is a condition checking. So most often some greater than, less than, or equal to whatever the decisions you are making. So they will add say some speed up in with respect to the somewhere hamper your parallel computations, so that they take one additional cycles, stating the very purely binary decisions as such. So sometimes, or I will execute all the threads which are true in one sense, and I will execute all the false in another sense. Then later, as it is left to the programmer, programmer's discretions. So which are to be considered or which are not to be considered as such. So that is what is control divergence. Thread utilizations, ultimately you have to plan according to a grid block and other things with whatever the device you are choosing. Okay, a commonly used strategy processing large input. There is no requirement for processing elements in any data. So whenever I say that I want a sum of 10 numbers, so whether you start from first number to last number, or last number to first number, or from mid to last, in whatever the manner you started. So ultimately, if you 10 numbers are to be added in any manner, the resultant are, in simple terms, it has to be associative. So whether you multiply from first to last or last to first, or whatever the numbers say, associate, it has to be associative or commutative. Say whether you make it a plus b or b plus a, so final or end result, because ultimately you are adding 10 numbers or multiplying 10 numbers or whatever the large chunk reducing into one, or convergence comes as we have stated already. Partition the data set into small chunks, so that that's also showcased in the last chapter. So two at a time summations you are doing for the initially. How do I do it? So maxima or minimas. So you go on comparing only two numbers or pairs as such. So then there is a reduction. Have each thread to process a chunk. So one chunk of that or set of data is it is something like a bucket sorting kind of architecture, where you choose a chunk and within that you do it. So then the content is from there. So it is as good as a taluk level, district level, and state level, and so on. Something of that sort. You can imagine. Use reduction tree to summarize the result from each chunk, and that is the final answer. So we'll focus on the reduction tree step for now. Okay. So all the data analytics or data networks use that. So whenever he is making a mention of Google, Hadoop, or R, whatever these languages or the tools as such. So he is speaking of data analysis as such. Reduction is also needed to clean up after some commonly used parallelizing transformations. So some resource allocations whenever you are making, that's where he is indicating whenever we attempt to say parallel prefixing. So resource allocations, whenever I say that I have a time chunk of 10 seconds, and every task utilizes 30 milliseconds or approximately 30. So then how do you plan how much time is left out? So whatever the real-time operating systems, whatever you have learned, so how much budget is there still with me, so that I can allocate for new tasks or the sporadic and stuff, something of similar to that. So reduction speaks about how much is available and how much is utilized. So finally, some numbers or the convergence number as such. Private is multiple threads right into an output location, so that the reduction can happen whatever we are visualizing within a block, across blocks, so that how much parallelization uh, we are making use of it. So again, in further slides, just I came to my mind, I'm just returning it. There's whenever you are making parallelization, why we are going for parallelization, that has to be addressed first. So basically to improve the performance, if I go for any sequential executions, if I'm stating that I have to add 10 numbers for I is equal to 0, I less than 10, say I plus plus, whenever you are doing that iterative loop as such, it is taking the 10 cycles or whatever the 10 time units, or for the 10 additions, whatever the time is required for that is taken. So whenever I say that I am doing it parallelization, so I have a 5 processors, maybe within 2 cycles I can compute the entire stuff, or 2 or 3 cycles if you say that. Then so work efficiency has to be more. So whenever I say work efficiency, here also I'm making 10 additions will not sound good. So there are more resources and you are going for parallelization, and the number of operations you are performing to arrive at the results should be somewhat larger, because efficiency is treated as a two terminologies. One is work efficiency and another one is resource efficiency. Work efficiency is I'm reducing the number of operations as well, and the final aim is performance, so that you have to take lesser time or the computing as early as possible. If I'm speaking with respect to that, both should be satisfied as such. So whenever efficiency terminology is used in parallelization as such, so work efficiency and resource efficiency, how effectively you are using the resources, and are you really using the reducing the number of operations. So I'm not using 10 adders or 10 additions right now, so something of that sort has to be arrived. To combine values to private locations into original output locations. So whenever you say private in this scenario, if I say that the reduction is across blocks, so not only within the threads, so how do you share and how do we make it across blocks? That's one more challenge that has to be addressed. I can have examples for that. I will look into that. Okay, what is a reduction computation? As we have stated, there is an array or a large set of numbers, and finally you want one number out of that array as such. So I want to find a maximum in that array, or minimum, or you want to find the summation of all the numbers in that array, or product of all the numbers in that array, and so on. So ultimately a large set to many to one, so something similar to max, but now there is a computation as such. Fine. Often with the user-defined reduction operations function along as operation the associated commutative, so that should be reversible for that matter, commutative or associative, in any order you perform it, so the end result is same. So has well-defined additive value. So for summing, so addition you have 0, for multiplication you have 1, something of similar to that. So whenever I want to find the maximum number, so you should have a smallest number. So the smallest number is 0, so everything is compared with that number, and anything greater than that is maxima. Or whenever you are finding largest number, so the number representation. So because you cannot represent infinity as such, most oftenly maybe in the 7th semester, if you are coding for shortest path algorithms, some numbers like 9999 was indicated, so that it is disconnected kind of stuff. In no manner you can have that number in your computations. Something of that should be assumed, or the whenever you are computing, say 0 is for some reduction of the identity element, and 1 for the production, let's say product as such. Okay, so just close. So, okay. Scan through input and perform the reductions operations between the result value and current input value. So how it was being performed, so that now there are parallel comparisons. So otherwise sequential algorithm what it says, so 3 is compared with 1. Now if you are finding a largest number, now 3 is retained. So then 3 is compared with 7. Now 7 has to be swapped. So largest number, there was a variable or max number, so is equal to 7. Now 7 is compared with a 0, so again 7 is retained, and so on. So that there is a sequential methodology. Now whenever you are making that, so whenever I make this 3 is comparable, say one operation over here, say maximum operation or greater than or less than whatever you are comparing, so many n minus 1 operations you can have that whenever you are saying that. If I am using the same max operators, So whenever I am saying work efficient algorithm, you are making that the number of these operators should be less than that of the sequential algorithm as such. Then you can say that your parallel algorithm is work efficient. Resource efficient is you are assuming that so many cores are available. Maybe there are 5K or 60,000 elements, out of which I want to find a maximum of numbers, and but my GPU has only somewhere around 10,000 devices or 10,000 threads can be accommodated. Then theoretically fine, but practically that has to wait, that has to go undergo, and finally the parallelization, whatever you imagined, cannot be achieved because there is a wait period, because you don't have a sufficient number of resources whatever you imagined, and finally the same resources have to be reutilized, which ultimately defeats the purpose of performance. So I should take lesser time than the sequential machines as such. So you are taking same amount of time, but you are investing onto the large number of resources, doesn't make sense as such. So reductions, again I come back to the reductions, so max operators, and finally, so in this case 4, 4 to 2, 2 to 1, that's somewhere binary, or the log n steps are required to arrive at a final number. So 7 is the largest number in this particular array, etc. So because you are finding a max, so summation, just replace max by addition or something of that sort. Okay. So it's a somewhat a tournament reduction. It was also stated in the last chapter of this diagram was available in your textbook as such. So it looks more practical, or we enjoy that. So basically you make a tournament reduction, so ultimately large number of set of array, and finally one winner has to be arrived at that. So for n input values, so n by 2, n by 4, so how that is happening, say n by 2 or n by 4, so is winning 4 and so on. So finally n minus 1 operations, log n steps. If I want to compute this many input values, so my array size is of this size, and it takes only 20 matches to arrive at a winner. Calculate office like it. Okay, you may arrive at 20 steps for say, results. See, in spite of the large data set, you are able to arrive at. So assuming that we have enough execution resources, that is, so whenever I say that there is a comparisons that are happening, so that means so many grounds should be available if you are planning with respect to matches, as such, parallel matches. Okay. Average parallelism, so n minus 1 operations divided by log n. So somewhere average parallelism is you have achieved 50,000 for this number. So you just put the commas appropriately and then know it basically. Lesser than sequential, that's where I summarize, or bottom line is that should be the case as such. This is a work efficient parallel algorithm. The amount of work done is comparable to sequential. So somewhere it should be lesser, then I can it is more efficient. Many parallel algorithms are not work efficient, so that somewhere you may exceeding that. Say, but ultimately, at least if you are not work efficient, you should be efficient. Whenever I say that only efficient, so that is performance efficiency I am speaking of. That means due to parallelism, so maybe I am using more resources, and finally you are producing it within lesser amount of time. Okay, recursively half the number of threads. So basically you start with say 4, 4 to 2, 2 to 1, that's how the recursively have the number of threads, add 2 values per thread in each step. So take log n number of steps, so how many tournaments or competitions or the reductions that are happening is log n steps of n elements requires n by 2 threads to compute that. So in place reduction using a shared memory, the original vector is in device global memory. Okay, now somewhere um, not only devices, how do you plan to share the variables, so that what were available for this, so I'm not interested in the entire array, so somewhere you start planning, so which can be allocated, because whenever I say shared memory, it is with respect to block threads share the memory. Okay, whenever something you want to put it in the global memory, then it is across blocks. So even when data is constant, then we are planning of say constant memory, and that should be well within size. Okay, just following this slide and just restrict here itself. um, sequential either, but not resource efficient. Okay. So shared memory is used to hold partial sum vectors. So whenever you produce that, so it's iterations. So this has to be reallocated, because whenever you are summating, say, maximum of this, so this has to be stored, and then the next numbers are to be compared. So one level, that results are to be stored, or intermediate storing of a partial sum vector has to be stored. So whenever after this, so that means you have to wait till all the threads with respect to that level computation have completed. But I ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, so if I want to complete this, so all threads which were completing this, or this is one level, so one stride or one iteration, whatever the nomenclature they are using in the slides. So I should wait till all these threads, let's say three, so this is one thread and this is another thread. So once all this complete, then only I can go ahead with respect to the next level, etc., next stride. So each step brings a partial sum vector to closer to the sum, and final sum will be in element 0. So this is what normal execution of the stuff. So thread 0, most oftenly you are storing the summation. So we are say whenever we are attempting reduction of operations, most oftenly sum is what is being considered. It can be anything as such, minimum, maximum, or something else. Okay, so you are storing it into the even positions. So 0, 2, 4 into the even positions, and then after so many iterations, 1 to 3 iterations, or as many iterations, finally a sum is arrived at thread 0, or this location that is available. And somewhere in the previous chapter we stated this is not an efficient design as such. Maybe it is working fine, but it can be made much effective by usage of active partial elements. So this is again same stuff repeated. Okay. The another one was stated across, so that what is happening is ultimately somebody has understood a CUDA processor or architectures, so that gets executed as a VOPS. So as you move across, so whenever you are computing, you have to store all the elements required for the computation, because all are required. So most often you are computing with respect to neighbors. Once I complete, or I'm done with this left half, or say right half of the elements, so in every iterations it is going on reducing. Finally only one block or one thread is sufficient to compute the stuff. So you start eliminating the requirement of blocks and warps, and finally blocks, so that you arrive at, and this is considered normally as a more efficient design. So that is again from 6th chapter, whatever we have stated, not the cover. Okay. Okay, each thread block takes two-dimensional input elements each. So he is stating that maybe just in terms of code, we have to put it. So whenever I start using double underscore shade double underscore, so this partial sum 2 star blocks is whatever the elements you are computing is available for your what is that? In shared memory, so that across threads as such. So thread ADX is where global index you want to find out. So then just two-dimensional, so block ADX, and block dimension is your start plus T. See, this is the index, and finally the offset is with respect to thread ADX, and partial sum is computed start plus T. So this has to be iterative whenever I say partial sum plus the, yes, here it is becoming. So partial sum 2 star T plus partial sum. So stride is a aspect stating that initially I had the even places, so 2, then 4, and so on. Say say then 4, then 8, so that what are the additions that are happening. So stride speaks about that how a part of the which are the elements you are considering. So maybe you are initially considering 0 to 4, 6, 8, and so on. Next iteration you are considering say 4, 8, say into the 100, so 12 and so on. So next iterations we are considering so more than that, say 8 and so on. So that's what he is speaking. So that ultimately you arrive at a final number. So block dimensions of the across block dimensions, whenever you are speaking of, he is speaking with this particular. Black to thread 0 in each thread block 0 writes the sum of thread partial sum into vector indexed by block idx dot x. So ultimately, if you visualize that picture back again, so even places it is writing. Just remember that because in this chapter he is writing the results into the odd places. Whenever I go back to the slide number 11 or sorry, just remember that concept. Say here he is depicting the same concept with the even positions. Now seventh chapter, whenever exactly we are discussing the prefix summations or the scans as such, so he's using the odd places for storing the results. Okay. Okay, some observations. In each iteration, two control flow paths will be sequentially traversed for each. So whether you are having the T-file slope, that means it falls within the even number or odd number, then you have a increased iterations whenever there is a divergence. So what we call that, there is a branching of the conditional checks are there. So true and false conditions have to be done. So not more than two half of threads should be executing after the first step. That's basically whenever you consider that there is a second algorithm, whatever you have chosen, the to add the extremities rather than the neighbors as such. So speaks about that you are bringing everything into a single warp or single block kind of architecture, so that that can be more efficient. Why more efficient? So not directly, otherwise anyway you are adding two numbers, but the divergence has been reduced. You are not checking whether it is outside that particular boundary, because outside the block or kind of stuff. So if condition has been eliminated, or most oftenly the true conditions at first. So there are more truths or kind of additions are being made. So rather than the false conditions as such. Bitter. So then anything required across block has to be stored in the constant memory. So whenever you start computing and everything comes to a single block kind of structure, so most often shared memory associated with that set of threads is more than sufficient, and hence particular warp or shared block is sufficient to compute the stuff. In some algorithms, one can shift the index usage to improve the divergence behavior. That is what we have stated. Computer system, example, given array values, reduce them to a single value parallel. So a better strategy again, as we have showcased. So instead of adding the neighbors, now go on adding the extremities. That's what is being stated. So stride divided by 2. So it goes on reducing until so half, and finally one number. So 1024 threads, no divergence in the first 5 steps. In the later part, there will be a divergence. Consecutive threads are active in each step. So 2024 to 512, 56, 122. Finally, what I say is it is one warp that is computing the result. So if I am considering the CUDA architecture and there are 32 warps, and if I say that my block size is 512, so then initially it is across blocks, and finally it is within a block, and then finally it is within a warp. Okay, story about old engineer. I don't know. Okay. Parallelism overhead. So you have to load the contents into the memory unsigned in start. So you block side IDX. So then shifting. Although number of operations involves much more complex stress calculations. So basically indexing, or the whenever you are seeing that T start. So these are the index calculations. So what is stating over there. And okay. So I think I will stop here, and next class I will be starting with this parallel computation patterns prefix scan. So where exactly so one application or sausage which has to be divided, and how the summation has to be computed with again similar kind of example is being showcased. But now, somewhere, if you have learnt the Brent Puget adder from your VLSI class, so the same architecture is followed in this particular stuff. Say that initially I compute only the neighbors, then that sum is forwarded until I come to the stuff. So, how many iterations? So, log n computations or whatever we have uttered until now, and the rearrangement so that the number of or whatever we say that. Work efficiency can be achieved. So in these architectures, whenever you put it, you say it's something similar to a Brent Cogator. That's where we want to arrive. So this addresses the stuff. Other than that, what we plan is so the parallel patterns. So it's one more slide from the other university, but he starts addressing given with respect to memory architectures, whatever is stated, memory management and list of moving parts. What makes more efficient and what makes it to suffer. So what are the other parallel threads, whether you are reducing or whether you are splitting the data or you are making compounding. So something other than the terminologies whatever mentioned in the textbooks, some additional information is there. So I'll be even showcasing this after the normal reduction operations whatever you have been showcased. Okay, I'm just skipping the codes. I'm not reading the codes line by line. I feel it is up to you to read the codes and understand. Any doubts, again, you are free to ask. So most often, larger text, I just skip the reading and whatever I know about that particular slide, I'm stating that. So I stop here. Any questions or doubts? You are free to ask. Okay. If nothing, I think I will close the session for today. Tomorrow we'll meet again. Okay. Thank you.